All right, Big Bang. Today is Thursday. It is May 14th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Today, my guest is Doc Mack. He is the owner of Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookefield, Illinois. The largest arcade in the world, Doc?
Largest in the world.
Largest in the world.
Not even close.
Not even close. I'm so excited to have Doc in. So a little background. If you follow all of Barstool, you heard Brandon and me talk yesterday, actually, on the free swim. We have a video coming out tomorrow. Where me and Brandon go to Galloping Ghost and we just have a nice day at the arcade. One of those places where once you walk into it, your breath is just like taken away. Like it's so damn cool, Doc. So I'm excited to just chop it up here about arcade games for a while.
Oh, thank you for that, man. It's grown a lot since it started, but you can always tell somebody new going in. There's a lot to look at, and it's one of those that, from the outside, I think it's a little unassuming. So
unassuming. Like it's off a busy street, and it kind of just looks like a storefront, a big storefront, and then you walk in and it's just nostalgia heaven.
Yeah,
it's just nostalgia heaven. And when I say arcade games, like I'm talking Donkey Kong, The Simpsons, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tapper. I'm not talking a bunch of Xboxes where people are playing, Halo or Fortnite with their friends. This is an old school arcade.
The classic.
Yes, the classic. So let's start at the beginning, Doc. What made you get into the arcade game?
So just growing up, it's all I did was go to arcades, play video games. So from a very early age, I knew I wanted to work in the gaming scene. And Chicago was so known for game companies. Like you had Gottlieb, you had Konami, Electronic Arts. Like everybody in Chicago was located here, with kind of the crown jewel being Midway. Games like Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam, Cruisin' USA, all those came from Midway. So it was always kind of the goal to go work at a company like that. And I had started to develop, even in my teens, I was talking with companies. And in 1994, I opened up Galloping Ghost Productions to make my own games, just because it was a different time. It was very difficult to get into the game development industry. And from there, it just kind of, we were working on a game for a long time. And in 2010, it was kind of just a whim almost, where it was like, well, let's kind of do a proof of concept and show that arcades can still be relevant, and it's a solid business, because so many of the gaming companies had gone towards just making console games. So it was it was met with, before we opened, everybody's like, this isn't going to work. Nobody's going to pay a flat rate to play these old games. Nobody cares about these games. And it was such the instant, the arcade proved everybody wrong. It was like opening night, we had a line 2 blocks long. We started with it was either a 48 or a 72-hour event, like launch event. And each year it's been, from the fiscal side, it's been profitable growth every year. We started with one building and 130 machines. We just on Monday, we put up our 1,090th game. We had a new game every Monday. We haven't missed a Monday in over 10 years.
You have a new game in that place every Monday?
Every Monday.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
We stream it. We have kind of like a high score run. It's all on Twitch, and players, there's a really solid regular fan base. And that was always kind of the coolest thing, like being in an arcade. It was a new game rolling out. And once you get a few games like Operation Wolf or Double Dragon, it's kind of like, oh, what's coming next? What's coming next? And over the decades, you see stuff like Street Fighter come out, and Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam. And it was always, now we can kind of go back and take these just outrageously rare, obscure games and stuff that only came out in Japan and unreleased prototypes, and put them back in front of the players and let them see the stuff that they've never seen before. So it always keeps it fresh. And like, if we have players that come back after a year and they're like, there's over 100. There's close to like 50 new. There's always 50 new games minimum, 52 games a year.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll do more. So
you said it started as an experiment, which is really cool, obviously, because like you said, you've been growing every year. Now, was it an experiment from the side of we want to show that people still like arcade games, or was it an experiment from your business model where, if people don't know, you briefly mentioned it there, you walk in, you pay a flat $25 if you want entrance to the arcade. I think it's $30 if you want access to the pinball room.
Yep.
And then it's free games galore. You just press a button and it's jailbroken, so to speak, rather than feed it with quarters, which is, I think, that one of the coolest features of the whole place.
Thank you.
Was it that? Or did you want to prove that was the that was the model, or that just arcades could exist?
A little of both. It was kind of, it's like, we need to show that arcade games can sell, and that that people will go play them, because we wanted to kind of go with the old school mentality of making games where we weren't designing a game based on console hardware. The best thing about like classic arcade games was that the arcades always far surpassed what the consoles could do. And it was kind of like we didn't want those limitations. And then really the business model stemmed from being in arcades, just kind of looking at all the things the worst side of arcades. It was like, I hate when I run out of money and I have to leave. And I hate when games aren't getting fixed. I hate when, for me, I was, growing up, I was very introverted and very, very shy. Going to the arcade was a very solitary thing. But I wanted information about the games and how they were made. And it was just one of those things where taking all those elements, and it's like, what can we do that's different? Because arcades were often closing. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions about, people always think, oh, the consoles killed the arcades. And I don't think that was really the case. It might have been a factor in it, but you watch how so many arcades burn out from fixing the same machines over and over and over. The approach of it was a very psychological approach of understanding how people play video games, why they like the games they like. And if you just kind of throw games in a building, it's not enough. It's like doing these things different, where we built this amazing community. We get players, like most arcades, try to go after a very local, like walk-in traffic. And 7 days a week, you can go into the parking lot and you'll see plates from out of state, people flying from out of the country. They plan their whole like vacations around coming to the arcade.
Yeah, I was doing research for this, and so I saw some guy online. It's like, I'm thinking about driving 9 hours to Galloping Ghost, and I'm not surprised that people want to see this place, because it is such a destination. It's one of those things that you just kind of have to see.
Thank you.
And I think that's interesting you say that, and I think, at least my observation, you tell me if I'm wrong, you're the expert, but like arcades, sure, that was a factor, like times were changing and gameplay was changing, but a lot of places were closing because they might have been attached to a mall, and we know malls have changed faces a lot in America. Some of them were attached to like a go-kart place or a batting kit, and like those places, like, it doesn't mean maybe the arcade's doing poorly, like maybe just the place in general, and they just kind of close it all, right?
Well, and that happened in some instances, but like often the arcades would. So we did a thing. There was a website that opened up called Arcade that was a location tracker, and this is probably 2006 or so. It was basically just a website to tell you where arcades were located and what games they had. And when that site was starting, it was like, okay, well, we can use this as a resource to go look at all, like we can find all the arcades and put it in, and we can use this as a resource for us for when we go to sell our game. We'll have this master list of arcades. And it was almost instantaneous. We went to about 80 arcades in Illinois, Chicago, Indiana. any place that had arcade games, like a pool hall or movie theater, like we documented everything. And we'd step up to a machine, put quarters in it, and it was like, well, the controls don't work. And it's like, well, this can't make money because they're not taking care of these games. And it's like, there were games I was very excited to play, and probably at one time a lot of other people were as well. But then it was kind of just like that lack of maintenance really made it to where I can't go support this business because they're not taking care of their stuff. Mm-hmm. And over the decades, it's kind of, I've isolated things into the player group, the venue, and the game designer elements to it. And all three have done things to make it to where arcades shouldn't exist anymore. Like, game companies really only design, like, they do a lot of racing games, they do a lot of shooting games now. And there's not the uniqueness, there's not the innovation that was in arcade gaming. The budgets have gotten so big, and it's just about what will the average arcade buy, which is, again, it's like on Games and Drivers. They're very casual player accessible. So they get people to feed money into it, and the games sell enough that they make a profit. Mm-hmm. Players kind of evolve from their interests. They get in and out of gaming. We've seen so many people say, oh, the arcades died in like 1982, 1983. And it's like, well, the arcades really evolved from classic games to JAMA-based games where they started to use, they went from skill tests, games like Pac-Man and Space Invaders and Asteroids, to more story-based, like Double Dragon, Operation Wolf, Golden Axe. And from there, a lot of people say, oh, well, early 90s stuff died. And it's like, well, it's when all the fighting games came out. So it's like the players not kind of rolling around with the changes to the scene. They just kind of leave it and say that to them, like, the arcades died, but it's really just them leaving the scene. Mm-hmm. So, and then with the arcades themselves, again, the maintenance is just a never-ending battle trying to keep everything running.
Yeah, that's on my list, obviously. So what's the biggest problem that some of these games face? Like, what's the most common breakage point?
It's kind of all over the place. Like, power supplies and buttons fail. Those are very easy to fix. Monitors, we keep everything running on original classic CRT monitors. So, gotten very good at repairing them, doing cap kits and changing flybacks. And games now that come out, they just have LCD screens, so you just put a new LCD screen. But trying to keep this old antiquated hardware going, a lot of it's run already for some of them 50 years. So they're built to last, but it's just having the knowledge to be able to constantly fix them. Some of the, again, light gun games, drivers, they take a lot of hands-on abuse, and a lot of that stuff can be very expensive to replace. Like, there's light guns that are $600 and up. So
what's an example of a game that's pretty popular that most people would know that it's like, that's an expensive one when something breaks?
Time Crisis, Ghost Squad, House of the Dead, like, all of those guns are like a House of the Dead gun you can get for $300.
Wow.
So you see somebody drop it, and it's kind of like, oh, that's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I could imagine. And then how many employees do you have?
So there's, at the arcade, there's only like 5 people that work there. Galloping Ghost, there's 7 companies within Galloping Ghost.
Oh, wow.
So we've got Galloping Ghost Productions, the arcade, we've got Galloping Ghost Reproductions, which is our printing company. We've got Galloping Ghost Pinball, Galloping Ghost Gamma, which is our gym and martial arts school that we initially opened with the original martial artists from Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
And we've got the Galloping Ghost Garage, which is our mechanic shop, and Galloping Ghost Kaiju Kobo, which we've got the license to make Godzilla and Gamera resin model kits in Japan. And then Galloping Ghost Holdings, which is just more business side stuff. But
there's a lot going on.
With all that, it's 15 guys working there.
And that's all 7, or that's the arcade is 5?
The arcade there's 5 arcade only employees, and then everybody else kind of is everywhere. Like a lot of the production guys are like my lead artist and lead engineer. They do virtually everything. We need cabinets moved. We need pickups done. There's the core group, which is myself and like 3 other guys that make sure everything runs smooth. So it's a tight-knit group. It's one of my guys, he's been working with me for 21 years.
Wow.
So we stick together, and it's always the goal to keep growing it.
And is it, out of those 5 guys, is it a little bit of a prerequisite that they know how to fix games, or do you bring someone in third party for that kind of stuff?
There's not many people that come in knowing how to fix this stuff.
Yeah.
Most of the tech work is myself and one other guy who's been doing tech work. His name's Doug Fox. He's our master tech. He's been doing it for 40 years. So even with his experience base, though, there's so much unique and rare hardware. There's stuff that he'd never seen before he started working with us. He's in 6 days a week, just because it turns into, it's so hard to not get something back up and running, because that's going to be the game that somebody comes in and that's the one they got to play it. Yeah. So it's very satisfying to get these games back running and in front of people, and you instantaneously see people enjoying them.
Okay. Yeah. No. So, and he's one of the 5 then, I assume? Or is he?
No, well, he kind of, he's almost like he's part of the group, but he's just, him being older, he's not like so entrenched as some of the other guys.
Gotcha. So he's not like moving cabinets with you guys and shit. He's just like, hey, like I need you here. The X-Men machine went down.
He gets in at around 6 a.m. every day. I'm usually there shortly after, and it's just a matter of like he's over 70, and it's just his passion. He just loves fixing this stuff. He doesn't like playing them.
Oh, really?
He loves fixing them.
He just likes to see how the engine works, kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I got to imagine, like, is your electric bill insane?
It's so we've got, I think we're at 27 electric bills for all the buildings. It's unpleasant getting that stack of bills every month.
What is like but the main one is at the highest, the main arcade with 1,000 games, is that the highest one?
It's because there's, I think, 7 panels in the main arcade. So the arcade by itself is 7 bills. We
get 7 bills for one building?
Yeah.
That is crazy, dude.
We saw, I never really thought about it too much until our power went out on it was a Saturday morning, and we had about 200 people at the arcade already. And it was a holiday weekend. We called ComEd up. I go out and I look. The line is just like fried. And we're like, hey, this line, our power's out here. It's this line. They're like, yeah, it's holiday weekend. We'll probably Tuesday. And I'm like, I'm a business here. I'm like, I got to get open. And they're like, yeah, we don't have anybody really running today. Like, we're pretty full already. What's your account number? And gave them the account number, and it was so. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll have someone there in 15 minutes.
Wow,
and it was. We were back running within 15 minutes after that.
So VIPs.
It was. We've looked into going solar, and it's like, even if we covered all 5 buildings of the arcade with solar panels, they're like, you're not getting off the grid. And they're like, you use more electricity than like a manufacturing plant. It's like, it's an insane, you've got 1,090 monitors running and computer. So it's just like, it's not the most green company, unfortunately. It's very electricity heavy.
Wow. So like, I mean, are we talking like definitely in the 4-figure? Is this going to 5 figures?
Oh yeah.
Wow. So a 5-figure electric bill every month.
Every month.
Wow. Do you remember like the high?
No, there's some ebbs and flows. Like we have to run AC units year round. So like it can be freezing outside, minus 15 degrees. We're still running the AC inside.
Because it is warm in there.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's just the nature of the beast. Like you got 1,090 games running.
And we've had the body heat, like our busiest Saturday ever. We've had 1,000 people through the door in a single Saturday. And it's just, there's no, even with the ventilation and everything, the heat just kind of accumulates. And there's cooler places in the arcade, like, but again, the units are just running nonstop to the point they just freeze because they can't like perform as much as we need. So even with all the units that we have,
is there a holy grail of arcade machine, like of arcade cabinets that you've gotten, or what's the one that you've gotten that you're most proud of? Like, hey, like this thing was so hard to get. Like, I'm really proud that I got this. And what's the one that you still haven't gotten your hands on?
There's been a bunch that were games that I never thought we would get. So many of the games at the arcade have just like great stories behind us getting them. We got Primal Rage 2, which was an unreleased prototype, which a guy from the Mortal Kombat fighting game community was like, "Oh, I've got a Mortal Kombat or a Primal Rage 2. I'll sell it to you," and it was like, "Yeah, right, sure you do." And he really did, and he gave us a fantastic deal on it. We get so many people now that they want it to be where people are going to enjoy it instead of just in a personal collection, and that has just led. There was a game we put out for our 10-year anniversary. It was the Sega R360. And the game cost $200,000 when it came out. Wow. They only made 100 of them, and it was mostly known for being at like Disneyland and Luxor casinos and just these really high-end places. And it was essentially similar to the game Afterburner. But this one, you sit in it and it spins completely all the way around 360 degrees. And it was like, I'd never played one. It was always kind of the dream to find one. And it took us about 8 years to negotiate the deal. And the guy, Kevin, who sold it to us was very like, "Yeah, I keep hearing how many people love your place. I want this game to be at yours, so you've got it." And it's just kind of instance after instance. Industry people giving us unreleased prototypes and people tracking us down. Like there's over 40 prototypes at the arcade.
That's cool.
We've got there's always new stuff though. It's like there's probably 8 cabinets on the way in right now. We've got boards coming in from Japan, and we buy games from all over the world. So it's there's probably like 25 games that I'm still looking for.
What's near the top of that list?
There's some Laserdisc games. There's one called Revenge of the Ninja or Ninja Hayate. There's one called Time Gal. There's a Williams game called Predators, which was a multi-linked cabinet, and I've seen one board for Predators. I've made some outrageous offers on buying it, but the collector won't sell it. So it's good though to have those things that keep me searching. So
Yeah, no, I'd imagine that's kind of a fun part, is to be like, oh wow, this is great that this still exists and it's in great shape, and we'd love to have it. Well, how do you decide if you bring in a new one every Monday? And like I said, you got a lot of real estate, but it's pretty run out there. It's pretty full. How do you decide which game gets the boot?
Nothing gets the boot. We just keep adding.
But you eventually you're going to run out of space.
Pretty much every time that we're getting close, and literally as we finish an expansion, we're already on to the next one. Right now, we're working on the big final solution is to basically put a second and third floor on the arcade. We've got hundreds of games in the vaults. We've got prototypes. There's so many more coming in that it's like we just need the space. So
where's the vaults? Well, like what is it? Like a storage room or something like it?
It's an undisclosed location, but it's got everything that isn't currently on the arcade floor.
But it's just like a warehouse or something where you're storing them?
Basically.
Okay.
Basically.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of them are just the PCBs. There's a lot of collectors out in Japan, which they don't really have much room to keep cabinets. So they just kind of keep the boards. And we just buy the boards and then we wire the cabinets up like using a classic cabinet. Mm-hmm. So basically make a conversion cabinet to run it. And it's much easier to store 300 boards than 300 cabinets. But yeah, it's always the goal to just keep, it's always players asking, what's the next expansion going to be? Like how soon is it coming? Because we really are tight on space, but yeah, it's, we always find a way.
That's awesome.
Our guy, Tom, one of the other main guys, he's very good at Tetris. So he moves some cabinets around and lo and behold, we have room for one or two more. So.
That's awesome. Hey guys, let's pause for a second because I want to let you guys know that this episode is brought to you by No Bull, Barstool's favorite footwear brand. No Bull is a brand known for their best-in-class footwear, and they're everywhere right now. Walking around Chicago, at the airport, grabbing coffee, wherever I go, I see No Bull. They've got so many great styles and colors, and we've been loving their daily runner, the Journey 2. This is No Bull's daily running shoe with an emphasis on comfort, support, and dependability. Soft where you want, structured where you need. Take it outside. You can run or walk. The Journey 2s are made to move your way. I'm wearing them right now. Everyone in this office is rocking No Bull. They're so comfortable. And like they said, they're versatile. Like whatever you got to do. They have a shoe that'll work for you, whether it be golf, whether it just be running, whether it be just be walking. No Bull's got it going on. So exclusively for Dog Walk listeners, No Bull is offering 35% off your first order. Visit nobullproject.com. Use code DOGWALK for 35% off your entire first order. That's nobullproject.com. Use code DOGWALK for 35% off. Go check out No Bull. Also, guys, the Barstool store has a new game inside. You guys heard me talk about it before. It's called Ball Knowers, or it's for real ball knowers, excuse me. It's called Embrace Debate. It's a new party game from Barstool Sports with 200 of the greatest sports debate topics. It's now available online and at Walmarts everywhere. This is for the fans with takes, loud ones, bad ones, irrational ones you'll defend like your life depends on it. It's chaos in a box. No stats, no Googling, no safety net, just how well you can sell your argument and win the room. Perfect for pre-games, tailgates, and nights where everyone thinks they're the smartest sports fan alive. Embrace debate. Shop now at walmart.com or in stores nationwide. Is there a top 5 pre-1990? Well, we'll start with this. What's the most popular games? Like the 5 most popular games in the arcade?
That's always a tough one. Like Mortal Kombat, The Grid. The Grid is like this, was pretty much the last game Midway released in the arcades.
The Grid.
It was way ahead of its time. It's kind of like a multiplayer shooter game. Very fast paced, a lot of fun. it's funny, like the classics that everybody remembers, like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man, they find out very quickly those games are so hard. So people love seeing them, but they're not exactly spending the most amount of time on them. I think a lot of the 16-bit era games like Golden Axe and Altered Beast and Shinobi, like those are so burned into players' minds. They walk in and those are some of the games that people mention like out of the box. It's like, oh my God, you have Altered Beast.
Mm-hmm.
And just the connection from the Genesis version, the console version, just it's such a strong memory with so many of those players.
That makes sense. And pre-1990s, what do you think is the top 5?
For me, like Operation Wolf, Double Dragon.
Do your personal list and then do like I think the general public would say these.
Let's see. There's just so many to kind of wade through. Like, yeah, like the early classics, stuff like Asteroid, Space Invaders, Galaga, like those, they have to be named because it's like everybody knows them.
Yeah.
Robotron, like I'm obsessively playing Robotron right now. So, but everybody's so different. Like you'll get somebody that travels from halfway around the world because they find out we have a game like Puyan. Like nobody's heard of Puyan except for somebody that they just happen to have it at a diner that they grew up near, and that was the game they spent all their quarters on. And it means the world to them that it's still somewhere that they can go play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I forget the name of the guy who's working the desk that day we were in, but I think we kind of came up with a list of obviously Donkey Kong, Galaga, Space Invaders, and he mentioned Tapper.
Tapper is huge.
Yeah, that's so hard though.
That's really a lot of players remember being really good at games like Tapper and Donkey Kong, and they are given such a harsh reality check because they pick them up, and those games were designed. They wanted the turnover to be 20 to 30 seconds, so your game is over quick. And the nice thing again with the free play model, we've seen so many players get into high score setting. We've got over 700 world records set at the arcade, and a lot of these harder games, people finally like truly learn them, and so it's an interesting thing to watch a player go from not knowing how to play a game to having a world record in it.
Oh, that's interesting that you just said that. I didn't realize that they used to make games. Just a thought, like get off the machine, let's keep getting quarters in this thing, which makes sense, but I didn't know that was the model.
They wanted so if a game got green lit, it all depended on its earnings. So how many quarters did it earn in a weekend? Games would go out on test and they'd get feedback. They'd bring them back. They'd say it was too easy, too hard, and they'd really dial it in. And it was so much on the programmers to kind of hide what they were doing. They wanted the game to make a lot of money, but they had to make players think that they were doing well. So like games like Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam, if you're getting completely blown out and losing an NBA Jam, they'll let you catch up and make it very close. And psychologically, that comeback that you get makes you have a higher chance of putting more money into it. It's like, oh, if I play one more period of this, maybe I can come back and win it. Mm-hmm. So it was, the programmers really had a psychological approach to making these games to make you feel like you were getting better. But the game is always, they're the ones in control. If they want you to lose, you're going to lose.
Wow.
So now as players are really dissecting games like Street Fighter, you can see they've found things like where the computer had unfair advantages and didn't adhere to the same control rules that the players had to.
That's quite the which I think I kind of knew. I had Josh Sway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know Josh.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I had him on the show in 2020, a long time ago, because he worked for Midway, I believe, and he was on the developing team of NBA Jam. So a lot of cool findings talking to him. And they came out with that documentary. What about post 1990s? The top 5.
Post 1990s. The 2000s, like there's still
Or even just 90s and beyond. Sorry.
90s and beyond.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's so many great like plane shooter games and shmups, as people call them. Like companies like Cave really just made so many great games like Dodonpachi, games like Carnival. It's such a long list. There's so many games that probably most people have never heard of, like Strike Force, that just phenomenal games that just due to the time that they came out, there weren't the same amount of players going to the arcades, and they were so already fascinated by games that had the stranglehold on the arcade scene, like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, like games like Street Fighter 3. It was, people were so excited when those would be coming out. So it's one of those, for me, if it's at the arcade, I love playing the game. And a lot of them, it's a lot of it, the more obscure stuff. Like the classic, like games like Terminator 2 and Revolution X. Like there's so many great games that it's hard to, as soon as you think of one, you think of another one.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
I think like we said, it was myself, Brandon, and the guy at the desk. We said Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. I believe we said NBA Jam, and Simpsons, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
So Simpsons and Turtles were huge, right?
Simpsons and Turtles, just so classic. It had the character recognition, the name recognition alone, but the fact that it was 4-player, just it would get such a crowd around it. And there's so many games like that where it's infectious. Like people are playing it and you hear them having all that fun and yelling and screaming, and it's like, oh, I can't wait to play this. And I see it every day still. It's like, it doesn't matter that the game is 30 years old or 50 years old. It's an experience to play some of this stuff. Like you're out and about, and it's a unique thing from sitting at home and playing, for sure.
Definitely. Do you have animosity towards home consoles?
Oh no, I love the console. I got a PlayStation 5. Like there's
okay.
Stuff like Resident Evil. I'm upset. I play anything and everything.
Okay, so you're still actively gaming then?
Oh, every day.
Yeah,
every day. 7 days a week.
How much are you playing at your place?
Right now, I'm pretty focused on Robotron. I'll play a couple of games of something else just randomly. Always have to test controls, so it's like kind of the hidden, I'm gonna go play this to test the controls on it, make sure it's all working right. But yeah, it's hard having to fix stuff. There's always stuff to fix, so I go down there wanting to play something, and it's like, oh, I should get this running real quick. But you walk past a game like a personal favorite, like Narc, which I can't not play it. It's like, even if it's just for a minute or two, there's just so many games like that. So,
have you seen King of Kong: A Fistful of Quarters, the documentary?
Of course.
Has Billy Mitchell ever been in the arcade?
Many times.
Really? That's awesome. What about Steve Wiebe?
Steve has not. We've spoken a couple of times, but he's never been out to the arcade.
Okay. Does he just show up unannounced, or is this like an appearance thing when Billy's there, or how does that work?
It's interesting. He's done it both ways. Sometimes, like he'll just shoot me a text or he'll give me a call and he'll be like, "Hey, you're me and Walter Day are coming out for your anniversary," he's awesome. Like he's had a lot of controversy behind him and everything, obviously, but he's done a perfect Ms. Pac-Man playthrough. He streamed for days. He came in one night and he's like, he called us up and he's like, yeah, right around Thanksgiving, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna do a perfect playthrough on the class of 1981 Ms. Pac-Man. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So he rolls up and he got there super late and he's like, I'm going to knock it out real quick and maybe I'll take off tomorrow and fly back to Florida. Okay, cool. And didn't do it the first night and he left super late, came in late the next day. And he's like, yeah, I'm just really tired. Didn't get it the next day. And now he's like, I'll be back tomorrow. Now he's starting to feel pressure because he's like, I got to get out of here on Thursday. Mm-hmm. But he's publicly said, I'm not leaving until I get this. And he didn't get it that Wednesday. So like now he's like, I'm going to miss Thanksgiving at my family because I got to play Pac-Man because I said I would.
Yeah.
And it's like it's high levels of determination with that guy. It's impressive. It's the controversy with like, did he set the scores back in the day on MAME and all that? It's like he's clearly a great player, and a lot of people vilify him for bringing that score in late, and it's just kind of it's an interesting strategy, and it high scoring is a very, very big part of the arcade. There's definitely players that play on a different level. There's some people that like, oh, I'm just playing for fun and I get a score, that's great. But there's others that are very serious about it. And I've seen players, it's not fun for them sometimes. They play and it's just an obsession. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things, players burn out. They get fatigue of playing over and over and over. And it's interesting. It's the documentary The King of Kong really put a spotlight on it. And it was very much an interesting story. There's definitely a lot more to it than what people saw in the documentary.
Okay. Good to know. I love that documentary. If people out there listening haven't seen that, go watch that.
Yeah.
It's sensational. Billy Mitchell is an unbelievable character, villain, whatever you want to call him. You can't take your eyes off of him. So I've been a fan ever since. And it made me want to go to Fun Spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that like, if you had to name like top 5 arcades in America, like, do you have any off the top of your head?
So I have not been out to Fun Spot.
Oh, really?
It's very difficult for me to get off of Ogden Avenue.
Yeah.
We've sent a lot of players there. I have the highest regard for them. We have people think there's a lot of contention between us because of they bill themselves as the largest arcade in the world as well. They had that record, and Guinness verified them. I think they had 611 games when they were verified. Their owner he'd been doing it for a long time, and it was kind of like we didn't want to really, he was 95 years old, so it's kind of like it wasn't important to us to have the official Guinness record. So he passed away a few years ago. He went out on top, and it was just kind of like he had made such a great arcade, and there was no reason to not. And so it was just kind of, now it's a cold hard number. It's like Fun Spot they have a lot going on at their establishment. They have like go-karts, they have bowling. They have all these other elements to what is Fun Spot. Their arcade, I believe, has got shrunk down. I believe they have a little over 400 games now. So they still have the Guinness World Record, but there's other arcades like Pastime Arcade out in Ohio, run by Rob Burke. Like, that guy's got 600 plus games. So Fun Spot, it's so many of the arcade owners, we all talk, we all get along. It's about providing a place to keep these games alive for players. So it's like, there's so many great ones though. Like we've helped over 50 arcades open worldwide. And the best arcade is whatever arcade you're in. It's if you're playing these games, there's places like Prince Arcades and Headless Horseman, Underground Retrocade out in West Dundee is just phenomenal. Like the owners of these places care so much about these games and put so much effort to present them the way they're doing it. It's an amazing thing to see the effort from so many of the arcade operators out there.
That's cool. I didn't realize that there was some type of controversy, rivalry. I don't know. I didn't realize that. Or discrepancy of the largest or whatever.
Well, Guinness now, we had since approached them, and it's more of there's a pretty hefty bill behind getting verified as the largest arcade in the world as far as Guinness is concerned, which we'd much rather keep improving the building than like, it's a cold number. It's like, if Fun Spot has 400 games and we have 1,000.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. We don't, if the Guinness World Record isn't the true official largest arcade number, then why would we concern ourselves with what number they're saying?
Yeah. And are companies still making cabinets? Are people still making arcade games?
There are a handful of companies still producing games like Raw Thrills and Play Mechanics. On the pinball side, you've got like Stern is still putting out games, and Jersey Jack, Spooky Pinball. Some of the big names like Sega will occasionally put out something new. Capcom will sometimes put out something new. But it's kind of we've put out one arcade game with Galloping Ghost Productions, and it's really, I think, the industry really doesn't understand how much demand there is for new arcade games and new IPs. Like, everything doesn't have to be a sequel or a movie tie-in. So it's, with the arcade, we kind of proved that, yeah, arcades can be functional still. And the goal is to kind of do the same thing with the production side of it, where we want to show other companies that, you know, it's safe to do an arcade game. It's a fiscally safe revenue to release a game, and you can make money. You can always put it out on console later, but it's a slower process. It's a slow process.
And how does that work for them though? Is there different models where you just buy the machine outright and you get all the profits, or is there like a lease model where they get all the? I mean, yours is a little different because you pay up front, but how does that work?
Well, it depends on the company. Companies like Taito, and they were using like server-based a release system. So you'd have a cabinet, you'd basically download the game and then play it until they decided they didn't want to support the game anymore, which is really bad as far as arcade preservation goes. But yeah, you can just buy an arcade cabinet. A lot of the distributors, they offer leasing models. Some of them are profit sharing, some of them aren't. There's a lot of like Play Mechanics and Incredible Technologies, the companies that do like Golden Tee Golf and Big Buck Hunter. They've got everything so dialed in. Like they know if they put a new Big Buck Hunter out there, it's gonna sell. So it's perpetuating what's existing. And for me, And being an indie company, we're very much like, we want to bring change to it. And it's no different when the arcade opened and we introduced the free play model. Nobody had heard of it before, and it was kind of like this very, like, people didn't think it was going to work, and it changed everything. It made the arcades have a resurgence. So it's always good to keep evolving and growing and seeing what's next. Like, where else can you take it? And the innovation of, to me, I think innovation in gaming has kind of hit a static mark for a while. And I'd love to see it just keep going and more changes. More and
stuff,
yeah.
I noticed, and maybe I just missed it, there was no golden tea, right?
No.
And is that by design because you could find it in so many places?
Pretty much.
Okay. That's exactly what we thought. We were trying to think of games we didn't see there, and we're like, oh, there's no golden tea. But there is one called like Skins or something.
Midway Skins game.
Yeah.
It was not a big golf guy. And that was one where it's a Midway game. I knew a lot of people that worked on it. And it wasn't until I met the guy that designed the actual stick mechanic. His name's Tom Seedor. And just a great designer, did a lot of hardware stuff. And he really got me to try. I was like, wow, this is really fun. I'm like, and that's the cool thing. Like, there's games that I've missed and I revisit them. And it's like, man, I do kind of want to play this more. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the one selfish side of the arcade. Like, if I don't like a game, I won't have it on the arcade floor. If it's on the arcade floor, I want to play it.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Like, that's kind of the how you weave things out in and out of it. It's kind of just your personal opinion.
Yeah.
Is there any popular game that you just absolutely hate?
There's, I wouldn't say hate. There's a lot of games that, like, if we don't have it, people assume that I hate it. It's like, Dance Dance Revolution would be one that people assume that we don't have it, and they think I hate the game. And it wasn't, now people have found out we do own one. Like, we've taken it to shows and stuff. And I think it's the evolution of gaming. And it is one of those things where that game changed. It made rhythm games. It took everything out of it being light gun games and driving games to rhythm games. And it satiated like a whole decade-long arcade run. And some people weren't into it, but the players that love it, they're crazy for it. Mm-hmm. They'll travel to go play a specific Dance Dance Revolution or Pump It Up and all the rhythm games. They're not something that I know well enough. But yeah, there's games that I think could be like, it's kind of a running thing. Double Dragon 3 was a game that we had it on the arcade floor, and I intentionally pulled it off the arcade floor. And it's not up to par for me to have on the arcade floor. It's been a little bit more of a game of interest because it technically did kind of introduce microtransactions to gaming. So for the history of gaming, it's interesting. But the gameplay, the art style, the use of the IP kind of fall short for me.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. And then what's the last movie game they made?
Oh,
because that's the thing too, is you walk in there, my mind was blown that they made a Batman and Robin cap from the Jim Carrey Riddler and the Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face. There's a Beavis and Butthead game. Like, do you know what the last one that was made?
I know when the Rampage movie came out, that had a game tie-in to it as well. So that's not terribly long ago with The Rock in it.
No, that's not that long ago.
Yeah.
That surprises me that they made one for that. And is like The Rock in it?
No.
It's
more like the classic arcade game where you're playing the three monsters just smashing buildings.
Gotcha.
And stuff, so.
Okay. And What's your general thoughts on like emulators?
So, like, I'm happy they exist. I think it's a great way. Like, we don't allow any emulators in the arcade. Like, I'm very much a purist in that sense, where it's about tracking down the original hardware. It's about getting it running and giving the true experience. I think they're great for players that want to play at home. I think they're great for. It's kind of the double-edged sword. Like, players get better on an emulator, but because of the scoring scene, I've seen players so focused on getting a score that they're just racing through learning a game, and it's just kind of jumping all the fun of playing to get to the end result of having a score. Stuff like in MAME, you can do save states, so you can practice a certain area. And it was such an element of what made the game difficult. So like a world record set back in 1983, MAME has really made it to where that score, playing it in a traditional sense, shows a lot of skill, but a score that's 10 times higher now on MAME, they've figured something out. They've grinded one specific area that maybe you had to play for 40 minutes to get to, and before in the olden times before MAME. So it changes. It changed a lot.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's it was originally emulators were supposed to be for operators to fix games. It was just more of a resource of getting the original arcade data to repair games, and it kind of evolved into now everybody has access to all these games. Mm-hmm. So.
And how many people like come on the average Saturday?
I'd say an average Saturday is probably 600-700 people.
600-700 people rolling through there on every Saturday. That's all. And weekdays a little slower, I assume.
Probably around 100 would be a slow time. There's such peaks to it. Like during summer, like every day's 600 people.
Oh yeah, so summer's busier. I would assume winter because people want to be inside.
Winter, there's these couple of week lulls that happen. Like there's a couple of weeks in October, a couple of weeks in May, and it's just such weird timing. Mm-hmm. If the week is slow, the weekend is usually crazy. But yeah, it sometimes it depends on if we're running an event. If we've put out something crazy that everybody's coming in to play that new game. Like we have a lot of industry events, so a lot of the developers and the Mortal Kombat actors are at the arcade pretty regularly. So
oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That brings in a lot of people too.
That's awesome. Is there how many regulars would you say you have?
There's probably like 30 or 40 regulars. We've got some players are lifetime members. We've got a lot of year members. There's players that they're regulars, but they live out of state. So like when they come in, everybody comes in just to come hang out with them.
Oh, nice.
We just had, there's a guy that travels in from Maryland, who's a Fat Chris, and he brings a party with him. It's like he's, everybody comes in to hang out with that guy.
Yeah.
So like there'll be a couple of people you don't see for a month, and Fat Chris coming will be the reason that they come in. So
I kind of want to go hang out with Fat Chris.
He's intense. He's intense.
Is there like an arcade fun fact that you have that you always give to people? If you don't, it's okay. Like maybe like a celebrity collector, like a weird instance you've had in the shop. Like what's a?
Yeah, it's
something about a game. Something about a game, like how I like the NBA Jam. Like, didn't they rig it because they were Bulls fans or Pistons fans?
Yeah,
I think?
Pistons fans.
Or Pistons fans. Yeah, so they
Mark Trammell was not a fan of the Bulls as much.
He rigged it against the Bulls. Like those are always fun.
Yeah, there's I think, yeah, I've heard so many stories from so many industry people. Probably one of the cool fun facts. We've got our game Narc. It's kind of like movies where there's unseen footage. We had a big event at the arcade Developers Day where we got everybody that worked on the game, and as like Warren Davis and Eugene Jarvis, everybody showed up to this big event. And the night before, one of the programmers reached out to me, George Petro, and he asked if I had a spare Narc board. And we did. And the industry people, these guys are basically my heroes. Like, they're what got me into game design. So anything they want, we try to accommodate them. So drove out the board to him that night. And we were so busy getting ready with getting artwork for them to sign and just getting ready for this big event. Next day comes I'm getting to meet some of the industry people I hadn't met before. George shows up. There's a great crowd for the event. George shows up and he starts telling me, he's like, here's your Narc board back. About 2 weeks before the game launched, there was a bonus level that was in the game, and you're just flying this helicopter and you're just dropping missiles and blowing all the enemies up and stuff. He's like, it was bugged and it was crashing the game, so we just took it out. He's like, I finished coding it last night for you. Here's your board back. You're the only one that has this. And there's probably like 10 people that have ever even seen it. And here it is. And now you've got it. And that's the one at the arcade. It's like,
that's cool.
There's so many insanely rare, one-of-a-kind games at that arcade. And it's so assuming, like, people have seen Narc. It's a crazy popular game. It's in other arcades all over the place. And there's no signage on it or anything. It's just kind of the people who know. And
that's awesome. And we didn't even get to pinball. The other building, how many pinball machines are in there?
We're at 48.
48 pinball machines? Yes. Nice. I was fortunate enough, we did a video. We toured Stern's factory. What an operation. Like, the craftsmanship that they put into all of that and how many people are working on it was so cool. It gave me an appreciation for pinball that I never knew I had. There's so much room for artwork and making the shots interesting, and the games, like, you've got such a limited area and they're trying to tell a story and have all these different modes, and so much goes into pinball. It's the highest respect for the designers over at Stern and all those top companies, Jersey Jack, Spooky.
Yeah. It's impressive. Chicago, there's some great companies still putting out pins.
Yeah, and Chicago's like the pinball capital of the world, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Everything comes out of Chicago. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I didn't realize arcade, because I knew Midway did, but I didn't realize there were other arcade companies too. All right then, Doc. We're here at the end. Anything else we didn't get to?
I appreciate you having me on.
And of course, so if someone wanted to find an appearance or someone's coming in, where do you post that? Where can people find that?
Normally we talk about it on our Twitch stream. If you search for Galloping Ghost Arcade, we stream a couple of times a week. We've got our YouTube channel, our Facebook page. So we try to get all this stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff that just happens so spur of the moment. Just people show up and it's like they're just kind of there hanging out and just trying to play games and stuff. So it's but you never know who's going to be there. Mm-hmm. It's there's a lot of industry celebrities and just commercial celebrities too that are just it's kind of their place. So you never know what's going to be going on there.
Okay. So Galloping Ghost Arcade on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, excuse me. Go check out those streams or wherever you announce, whenever you announce someone's going to be in. If not, the address to the arcade is?
9415 Ogden Avenue.
And your hours?
We're open 11 a.m. till midnight, on Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. till 2 a.m.
2 a.m. You could stay there and real late and play all those games.
7 days a week.
And I've heard you can get there and you could get stamped, right? And you could leave and come back or something. Is that true or no?
You just hold on the receipt. You just show your receipt and you're right back in.
It's good for all day.
All day.
It's not like a stadium. If you leave, you go. So go to the zoo and come back. I was telling people, I was like, the zoo's great, whatever, but Brookefield, you got to check out the arcade too if you get over there, not just the zoo. So
the hidden gem within the town.
Exactly. All right, Doc. Anything else I didn't get to? We get a website, everything.
If you're just typing it into like Google Maps or anything, just make sure you're putting the arcade, because all the 7 businesses are within a 6-block radius. So we get people showing up at the gym and martial arts school and the production offices, and they're all Galloping Ghosts. So
awesome.
It can be confusing.
Awesome. Doc, thanks again, man. Really appreciate it. For everyone listening, go check out our YouTube channel at Barstool Chicago. Doc was kind enough to let us film the video. That'll be out tomorrow. Me and Brandon, our day at the arcade. Let me show you Chicago. Thanks again, Doc. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Very much appreciate it.
All right. See you guys next week.